Okay, well, we're here to do another update on the Tonka dump truck. As you know from the last video, if you were keeping up, we made it to where the dump bed opens and closes real easy. It was nice and stiff and it didn't want to go down on its own. So I got a few ideas how to make this dump. I was on eBay looking at the parts I would need to do this, and by the time that I got to add them all up, it was getting pretty high, well over $200, and then I still had to get other parts. So what I decided to do was I bought a whole brand new dingo kit, which is just a kit and it's not ready to run, and I'll get everything I need, plus I'll have an extra body and stuff for some other projects I want to start on. I would like to make my SCX10 a 6-wheel drive, so I'll have the frame parts and shock towers and shocks to be able to do that. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to try and cut out some parts that I need, since I'm still waiting on my parts to show up. I'm going to cut out some of this plastic so that the batteries and things will fit in there, and get you a little closer so you can see. All this plastic right here I need to cut out, and then once I get that done, I'm going to try and figure out what I got to cut out to make the dump bed come up. I got a few ideas on that. I'm thinking of making an arm come up and just roll this up, since it dumps so free flow, and maybe create a servo winch. So for now, what we're going to do is, I've already taken the tires and stuff apart, get these out of the way, and see what we got to do to cut this out. So I'm going to do that a little bit. I'm not going to do it on camera. It's going to be kind of boring. I'm going to use scissors and a razor knife, maybe a Dremel tool. We'll see how it comes out. Alright, well, I'll be back in a second. Okay, we're back. What we've done so far, see if I can get in here and show you. We trimmed out some of this plastic. This is a lot more difficult than you think. I've been using a razor knife and some scissors and cutters, and I checked it with the battery. I was hoping that would be enough, and this is just my mock-up battery. I'm going to try and use a LiPo, I think. See if I can get a better angle here. But I believe I'm going to need to go all the way down with it. See, it goes pretty deep, and it'll get gets a little more narrow down here. So if I can get all the way down there, the battery might sit better, and I can make some kind of bracket to hold it. Plus, I don't want to see it through the wheel wells and stuff. And so I'm going to keep going with that, and I'll update you in a second. Alright, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. As you see, I dug out, let's see if I can get a little closer in here, the plastic right there, and now the battery will fit right in. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck to where I can connect the wire over on this side right here. So we're still waiting on, of course, the parts I'm going to need. So what I'm thinking of doing next is I'm going to go ahead and start on the body dump. And what I'm thinking of doing is taking a couple of these control arms and go through the body, and as it pivots back, it'll pull up the bed. Looks like I got plenty of room down here for all this to fit into. And there's a couple spots on the side right here and here. I'm thinking of putting these through and then drill a hole right here and make it a pivot point to where when the bottom pulls towards it, this will be laying like this in the body, and when the servo winch pulls this, it'll lift up the bed, and then when you let it back down, it'll go back down, of course. I believe that'll work. But I'm going to give it a shot anyway and see how it works. If it doesn't, we'll figure out something else. The hydraulic ones that work off your receiver are pretty expensive, and they're about 75, 80 bucks. And the only one I've seen had them hooked right here, and it didn't look quite right to me. And then I believe he's even changed his to where they were down here and lifted up. But then you had to have two, so you're looking at another 140 bucks or better. I'm trying to keep this kind of as low as cost as I can get. Of course, we're already in a few $100s. But the buy one is ridiculous. They're like $1,000 or better. So now I'm gonna study on this a little bit. Like I say, I'm gonna take me a servo and make a servo winch. I haven't quite figured out where I want to mount that yet. Somewhere right around here seems pretty good, or maybe all the way back here and let it pull through. And like I said, this part will go through the bed. This will be like this up in the, and then as the servo winch pulls this forward, this will pivot, lifting the bed. That's the theory. I'm thinking I might have to, the reason I want to use two is I'll put two like this, and then I'll put a bar in between the two to help stiffen it up, and I'll put a bearing so it can roll. And we'll see what happens with that. I'm going to start figuring that out, and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm going to think on this a little bit and see if I can work on anything else, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. All we've seemed to do today is we've notched out this part right here for the battery to sit in, and over here in the middle of this I cut out where the simulated drive shaft was. And my plan is to take a high torque servo, notch this piece of plastic, sorry for the angle, this piece of plastic here, and mount the servo to that, and then as you can tell it'll line up with that crack there, and I'm going to make some kind of servo horn with a bearing on it. And I was getting ready to cut it all out, but I'm not really sure how high the transmission is going to be or how close to this. So I figured I best wait for that to show up so I don't mess something up, because I'm sure I got to cut this part right here down some so my axles aren't so high, so my tires sit in the same spot like they should in the fender wells. So what I'm going to do is just put her back together for now. Like I said, we did get the battery section notched out, and that was a little more difficult than I expected. I imagine if you had a Dremel tool or something with the right kind of bit. Naturally mine is battery operated and my battery was dead, so I had to do it the hard way. Razor knife and bolt cutters. But that's all we're going to do for now until my new kit shows up for it. I'm afraid to go any further that I get the dump all working correctly and then the transmission's in the way or something. So for now we're going to see what happens with that. And I just thought I'd share this little update. I guess it really wasn't much, but it's the progress. So. All right, until next time, please subscribe, please like, and till next time.